Can't get any words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse Podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we're all ripping into our Tuesdays with a positive and happy mindset. We are in here on a Monday. We're not doing a Sunday recording this week, which, I don't know, I'm of two minds of it. I almost was in here on a Sunday again, just with the, guys, it's a broken record. I should almost have the same intro every single week and just be like, my week was a shambles. I don't have enough time. I fucking blah, 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 blah. Who gives a fuck, am I right? But yes, I'm in here again on a Monday. It is a shambles of a Monday, but we're laying down a podcast for you fine folk of the Can't Get Any Worse podcast to listen to. So Nikita and the kids are home today. So I'm expecting a couple of distractions, a couple of barging through the doors going, fucking Westy's pulling my hair or Parker's kicking me in the dick. Hey, it's all going to be part of this episode. I'm predicting it. I'm calling it now. And normally Nikita works like the start of the week and then alternates with like another admin lady. But this week she's had to do the old switcheroo. So she's at home today. Kids are on school holidays. And at the end of the day, I've still got to get this recorded. So you guys are probably sitting there going, James, your kids seem to be home every single podcast episode you record. And I agree. I mean, we should just start calling this the Daddy Daycast. Oh, God. I'm proud of that one. I'm happy with that one. I reckon that is so far in the front runner for the episode title. But, Parker was home. I think he was home when I did the UFC breakdown last week. So we will touch on that when we get to it. I appreciate all the love on that episode. I think we ended up getting like 100 views on YouTube for the visual side of things, which is insane to me. Like the UFC breakdown episodes, I don't know if it gets in the algorithm more because of like the title and shit, and people are like, oh, let's tune in and see what this guy thinks about the UFC. And then 3 minutes into the episode, they're like, who the fuck is this guy? He knows absolutely nothing about fighting. And I don't even know. He's fat. Let's just say that. Let's just end on that. Oh, God. But look, couple off the top, let's rip into a couple of creative things. Let's get them out of the way at the start of the episode, and then we'll rip into my week that was. So those of you listening, those of you that have set a stopwatch or have set in your calendars, due date for Jimmy Misson's first solo show, Epiphany. To you guys, I want to put my hand up and go, I'm sorry, I don't have it done. But in saying that, I am happy with the progression that I've made, okay? And in reality, I've just made more work for myself because that end date of September, October, where I want to first do the show, that's not moving. That is concreted in. So whatever I don't get done up to that point, that's all on me. That's just a few more sleepless nights for me just to ensure I've got it done. But I am glad to tell you guys, I don't know, what's the fucking saying there, but happy to tell you guys I have made progression with it. It is so much better than it was when I first came in and made that announcement like a month ago. I'm stoked. I've gone back and just fine-tuned that first sort of 3/4 of it. It's pretty much just like a bridging point that I'm stuck with now of that first 3/4 of the show. And then half of that last quarter, like the ending, I'm happy with. And it's just that bridging point to get the show to that end point. And it's like, I've written a few things, but it's just not, it works in a way, but I just feel like the first 3/4 and that last little bit is so strong. And then that little bit is just, it's just there for the fuck of it, basically. So I'm working on that. Heap of premises and ideas and shit that I've had for full jokes, I've basically put them as tags in other jokes and stuff, and it's just made them so much stronger. So, as I said, I'm fucking stoked with it. We are getting there, but having the first revision A down on paper, locked away by the end of June, I don't know if we're going to get there because the day this comes out, I think this episode comes out. What date is it right now? Let's have a little live look. 30th. Hang on, I clicked on the wrong calendar app. God, I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, so this comes out on the 1st of July. So unless I stay up tonight and I have an absolute stellar writing session, I can't see it getting done, ladies and gentlemen. But as I said, that end date is not moving. So, and I reckon by the end of this week, I should have it locked down in the books, done and dusted, and then it'll be go over it. I plan on coming in here as well and just recording the whole thing a couple of times. As probably boring and annoying as that is going to be for myself, at least then I can get a feel of it. I can be sitting at work. I can listen back to it and go, okay, why don't you change this? Why don't you change that? That's not as funny as you thought it was, dickhead. And then I can start presenting it to a couple of people and go, hey, what do you reckon about this? And then we're hitting the road, ladies and gentlemen. So I've started mapping out a bit of a rough mud map of places I want to go, things like that. So that's exciting. Then it's just the whole back end of that of, hey, cockhead, how are you going to fund this whole thing? And I think that's going to be the biggest roadblock I have of, that realization of shit. This is your first little tour is going to cost an arm and a leg. But in saying that, all the big shit is out of the way. My car is up and running again now. No dramas. The mechanic is confident that it's fucking ready to tackle Australia. I've got the stage. I've got the lighting. I've got the sound. That the show is just about there. The only thing stopping me is the bank account. So, but we'll get there. We'll make it work. But that's where that's at. Anyone that did have their stopwatch set. So the show is coming soon. The other creative thing, if you will call it that, I was featured on another podcast this week. So friend of the show, Matty from the Mayraki podcast, he's been on this podcast before. I've also been in his studio before with Ty Avery from the Roads of Walk podcast, where we did a bit of a fight breakdown thing. And yesterday was the first time that I got featured as like a solo artist, if you will. Like I was the Beyonce of the moment. And shout out to Matty for inviting me on and just wanting to hear what dribble I had to say. And it turned out to be a cracking episode. I had so much fun down there. Plenty of laughs were had. I think the episode ended up coming out at like 2 hours or something, which is insane. Obviously, I had to break the seal on that bad boy. But shout out to Matty. He just steers the ship so perfectly, and I was actually pretty stoked with that episode. Like, it was probably the most free-flowing podcast that I've been on as a guest, to the point, get this, ladies and gentlemen, you will not believe this, to the point where the home invasion story and the truck story did not even come up in conversation. Normally, when I'm getting stuck, I go, hey, have I ever told you I was in a home invasion? Didn't even come up once. So that gives you an idea of how fucking good the episode was. But I don't know when that's coming out. I think Maddie sort of tries to keep like a backlog of 2 or 3 weeks or something. But I'll give it a plug when it does eventually drop. Follow me on socials. I'm sure it'll be all over there. But yeah, absolute ball down there with old Maddie. I think from all reports, I don't think anything is officially locked in yet, but the way the boys are throwing banter around the group chat, there is talks where we're going to do a Origin 3 live watch party sort of thing, which, we'll see. We'll see how that all comes about. I'm sure there'll be like 3 viewers that tune in or something like that, but hey, should be a bit of fun. Anyway, the last little thing I wanted to touch on before we rip into my week that was not necessarily like a fun one or anything, a bit of a kick in the dick, if I'm being honest. A bit of a kick in the dick from the comedy community. So I was, as we all know, I run West Park Productions. Okay, it's my little side project. I put shows on all around Southeast Queensland, I suppose. The 3 that I focus on, all 3 of them basically fell in my lap: Distillery Road Market, Orion Hotel, and Sunny's at Margate. Okay, I've met with a couple more venues that could be interested, but nothing to fucking report on as of yet, okay? It's all within the negotiating and planning and all that sort of shit for now. But those 3 have been going gangbusters, okay? The crowds are loving it. The venues are they're all stoked on it. And the comedians are loving it as well, okay? Now, one of the big things that I want to do is not only give myself more stage time to practice my emceeing, which these 3 gigs are definitely doing that, but it's also give people that are at sort of the same level that I am more stage time. Like that, at the end of the day, that is all we all want as comedians is stage time, okay? Now, when I first started running comedy rooms, one of the big things that I wanted to do was ensure that every act on my lineups was paid. And first few shows, I did that, and I soon learnt why 95% of comedy promoters or room runners, whatever they want to call themselves, don't follow that model, if you will. And it's purely because once you've outlaid everything for whether it be your what's the word? Not necessarily overheads, but like you've got to pay off your speakers and your lighting and everything to make the show come together, right? And then you've also got your time and effort to secure a lineup, then the dramas of all that stuff. Then you've got promotion, then you've got marketing and promotion, yada, yada, yada. It all adds up, okay? And then you're left with $10 at the end of it and you're like, what's the point? So I quickly learned why a lot of promoters do not pay their acts. And trust me, at the bottom of my fucking heart, I'm like, I wish everyone could get paid, genuinely. But all in all, one mutual agreement that every comedian that I have come in contact with since I've started doing comedy, the biggest thing, just give me stage time. I fucking could not care less. I went that Dubbo trip that I did for free. It cost me money to do that trip. And I purely did it for the experience of getting in front of a new crowd and just getting my name out there, like so many, I'd say if I had to throw a percentage at it, probably 95 to 90%, 97% of the gigs I've done throughout my comedy career, if you want to call it that, have been for free, okay? Now, let's get to where this story is going to. I run my rooms purely based on a sign-up form format. And a lot of rooms do that. A lot of rooms don't. They just send DMs to people and be like, hey, want to jump on my lineup on this date if you're free? And they do it that way. I just find a sign-up form. It's quick. It's easy. I can go through it all and be like, okay, these people signed up. I think that'd be best for this venue. I think that'd be best for that venue. Then if one of them drop out, I just go back to the sign-up sheet. I go, hey, you signed up for this venue. Are you still available? No, they're not available. On to the next. So it just makes it quicker and easier for me personally. Plus, on top of that, I'm only getting people to sign up for the shows that want to be on the shows, if that makes sense. So I found when I was doing the whole DM approach, a lot of people would just drop out because they weren't necessarily invested in the show. And I get filling a 2-minute form out isn't that much of an investment, but it's something. It's something from the acts. And I've had so much more of a retention rate, if you will, of acts showing up and actually being keen to be there. So that's why I do that. It also, I am not forcing anyone to be on the lineups. I am purely saying, hey, here's a show. If you're interested to jump on, come on. I've got a stage. Come practice your jokes. I'm not telling you to come and do your fucking tight 10. Come and do 10 minutes of new material. I don't fucking care, okay? And okay, this is where this is all heading. This is where it's going to break down. I put that sign-up sheet in the group chat last week. Not group chat, in the Brisbane Comedy Group community last week, okay? That's where I've placed all my sign-up forms since I've been running these rooms. And last week I get a message, or a comment on there, and it's a lady, and she just goes, hey, just curious, are all these spots being paid? And I commented back, I've never heard of this lady, so I just comment back politely. I go, hey, unfortunately, these spots on these shows are not paid. To which then, within the next half an hour, I receive a private message from her. And she more or less is blowing up, telling me I'm not allowed to run my rooms that way. It is against Brisbane Comedy Room policy, just breaking down all this shit and telling me in a roundabout way that this needs to stop because it is making it hard for her that also runs and books rooms to sell and promote comedy within the Southeast Queensland region, because there's people like me out there that are just undercutting her and making it hard for everyone in a roundabout way, okay? And I've replied, basically explaining what I just said to you guys, that I'm not forcing anyone to be on the lineups. Everyone is doing it for stage time, yada, yada, yada. And she came back again, complete disagreements. And she's like, look, clearly you're not getting the gist of this. I suggest that we sit down and have a meeting about all this. And I said something along the lines of, look, I'm very sorry, I've never heard of you. And this whole conversation seems to be coming from a purely business sense of view over being a comedian and just aspiring for stage time. And I go, do you mind if I ask what rooms you book? And then she goes, I am the general manager of, I'm not going to say, but what a lot of people would argue, the biggest comedy promotion in Queensland. Join the dots. And she more or less wanted to sit down with me and tell me that fucking, yeah, I was not doing things correctly. I was not doing things the right way. And it completely blew my mind. Like that is insane that another, like, look at us as, again, I'm not comparing myself to them. I'm nowhere on their level. But it would almost be like Coke calling Pepsi and being like, hey, you can't do shit this way. You know what I mean? Like, telling another business how they should run their shit is insane to me. And I just replied again and I go, look, meeting up would do nothing. And I just laid it all out. And I go, look, I understand replying in this way is not going to get me any favors with ... And I go, I've pretty much probably just shot myself in the foot with any opportunities that may have come available, but I've got to stick to what I believe. And yeah, a couple of years ago, I definitely wouldn't have done that. I would have just curled in my shell and I would have fucking DM'd everyone on the lineups and gone, hey, big dog spoken, see you later. Unfortunately, it's not happening anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt the need that I had to stand up and go, this is what I believe. And if you don't like it, then fuck off. And I basically replied and I said, look, these are my thoughts. I'm not going to go into it on the podcast, but I just said, if the owner of this organization has an issue, get them to call me because he's got my number. And to which she replies and goes, I just want to emphasize that nothing I've said in these messages, nothing I've spoken to you about, none of my thoughts, none of my opinions reflect in any way on this particular organization. They're all just thoughts from me as a person. So please do not get them involved. And I was like, oh, really? Really? Wow. Did I just win? Did I just win that one? I think I just won that one. So that felt a little bit good to get one over someone who thought that they were, I don't know, doing the greater good for comedy scene or something like that. But it was insane. So who knows what's going to come of it? I don't fucking know. But yeah, stressful times. And I've said it on the podcast before. I'm a big believer of no room in Brisbane is going to like sell my Netflix special, if that makes sense. It's all up to me. Like so many big names, when I see them make it, all these comedy rooms and stuff will post pictures of them and be like, oh, this person used to do spots in this room, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, let's rip into some fun stories. This is what my week has been. Tried to be the cool guy at the gym this week. Failed miserably. My friend is back. That weird guy that won't stop talking to me. And it's been like that for 2 weeks now, and I cannot get away from him. And I don't know why I did this. Last week, the gym was packed before I went to work. I've tried to be the cool guy. I've finished my workout. I've got my bag out of the little pigeonhole things, and I've started to walk to the toilet. And as I'm doing my cool guy strut through the old gym, my bag carry fucking strap thing just gets stuck on one of the machines and just fucking rips me back in front of everyone. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And then I'm trying to unhook it. Everyone's just staring at me like I'm a fucking idiot. God, it was painful. It was painful, ladies and gentlemen. I need a sip of water over here. One momento. But yeah, let's rip into YP was home during the whole UFC breakdown. Turns out, little fella's got another illness. He has school sores. And you guys are probably looking at my face right now going, is that what you've had on your face the last couple of weeks, you fucking disgusting pig? Who knows? I'm not going to the doctor, but while I was there with P, the doctor was looking at me like I was a disgusting animal going, you are the culprit. You are patient zero as to why your son has gross germs on his face. But anyway, I don't know what that is. It's fucking gross. Trust me, I know. So yeah, had to take him to the doctor for all that shit. And we come home, I do the podcast, and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, P, what do you want for lunch? Now, this kid is fucking obsessed with Subway. I think we've spoken about it before. And I go, all right, let's go up. He's like, no, I don't want to go up with this on my face. And I'm like, I get it, buddy. I feel you. I got it as well. And he goes, can we Uber Eats some Subway? And I've gone, okay, let's do it. We wait 45 minutes for the Subway to rock up, right? Rocks up. I get the bag. I go, thank you, mate. Have a lovely day. Now, he proceeds to drive away. I get the bag of Subway. I open it, and I'm looking in there. Now, there's two of us. There's me and P. I should have had a foot long with a drink. P should have had a 6-inch with a drink. And I look in there, and I just see 4 subs. And I've gone, well, this isn't my fucking order, is it? And I've called old mate, and I've gone, hey, I think you've given me the wrong order. Do you have another order in your car? He goes, no, that was the only one I picked up. And I go, okay. Do you have my drinks in your car? He's like, no, everything should have been in the bag. And I'm like, oh, and I know he can't do anything, but I just vented on him anyway. I go, look, I've only got 4 subs in my bag. And he's like, look, nothing I can do. You'll have to take it up with Uber Eats. And I've gone, fuck my life. So then I've sat there. I've texted Nikita. I've gone, can you fucking believe this? I send her a photo of the 4 subs and 5 minutes goes by. Okay, I'm sitting there raging. I'm trying to work out what I'm going to feed P now. The kid that eats 3 things. And I've gone, oh, fuck it. All right. Might as well see what these guys have ordered. You know what I mean? There might be something in there that I can salvage. And I pick up the first sub. I unwrap it. And I go, oh, this looks like my sub. It's exactly what I ordered. I go, well, that's fucking lucky. Pick up the next sub. Unwrap it. It's exactly what P ordered. I've gone, you can't write that, you know? Then I'm starting to think, okay, clearly they've done like half my order in with another person's half order. And I pick up the third sub and it's rock hard. And I've gone, it's a fucking weird sub. Unwrap it. For whatever reason, Subway had wrapped up our drinks to make them appear like subs. And I was angry. Subway, if you're listening, do not wrap up drinks to look like subs. It confuses dumb dads like me when we're sitting there with a sick child just needing to nourish him. And he could have eaten 10 minutes ago, but I've been walking around fuming at this Uber Eats guy that this is out of his control. He has no part in this. This is purely down to you guys. And we proceeded to sit down and eat our cold Subway now because we had spent the last 10 minutes fuming that they would make such a fuck up. So screw you, Subway. This is exactly why I'm going to McDonald's for my sponsorship. But what else has happened this week? This was a fucking bad one. One sec. Same day, I think it was. I go pick Westy up from vacation care, get him home, and I'm in the office trying to get the UFC breakdown edited and uploaded. And I've gone, running out of time. Shit is stressful. Westy's occupying himself with his friends on Fortnite, and P's quiet. Now, that's a good thing in my books. I'm like, he's quiet. I'm getting shit done. He's not annoying Westy. It's a win for everyone. Now, he comes in 15 minutes later after I have this thought, and he goes, like my hair? And I've gone, like my hair? That's an odd opening sentence for a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. Yeah, he's 5 now. Soz. And I turn around, and this kid has found a tub of hair gel, scooped out the entire contents, and has just fucking smushed it in his hair and rubbed it around in circles. Oh God, it was quite a sight. I'm not going to lie, but he had a thick layer of paste just all over his head, just spun in a circle. It was intense. It looked like he had like a wig of gel on, and I was like, dude, we need to get that out now. And I put him in the shower, and it was that type of gel where when you wet it, it goes like oily, if that makes sense. Oh, it was hell to get out, but he didn't want to wash it out. He's like, this is the sickest thing I've ever seen. Oh, God. But speaking about Westy and Fortnite and shit like that, Westy started this thing lately where he'll be on the couch and he'll just yell like, ow or something. And I'll walk out and I'll be like, what the fuck's going on? Usually it's Parker hitting him while he's trying to concentrate and stuff. So I was in the kitchen trying to sort dinner or something, and I just hear Westy yelling out. He's like, oh, that hurts. Stop it. And like I let it go for a couple of minutes. I'm like, they'll sort it out. They're brothers. And I walk out there. I go, Parker, stop hitting your brother. Now, Parker's not even on the couch. And I've gone, where's P? Thinking that he's just like hit Westy and run away. No, Parker was in his room being a good boy. And Westy goes, oh, no. I'm just yelling at the game. And then after he said that, he gets shot again. He's like, stop it. And I've gone, why are you pretending you can feel the game? And he's like, I don't know. It just helps me. And I'm like, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. But anyway, the last little story before we rip into my week in comedy and other fun segments of said podcast. Look, I think I've spoken on the podcast before. My fascination of a particular artist at the moment that a lot of people hate. Westy comes up to me over the weekend and he's got his iPad and he likes listening to songs on his iPad. He comes up to me, he's like, what's that new Shameen Gun Kelly song? Oh, God. And I go, what? He's like, Shameen Gun Kelly. And I'm like, Machine Gun Kelly? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, God, I don't know why. It just made me laugh so hard. So, yeah, fucking cracking moment there. But let's rip in week in comedy. I know I said I had the week off, but I had the bat signal went up. They needed a late fill-in at Fitzy's Logan home. And I went, sure, why not? It's fucking 10 minutes from my house. Why not cruise there and see what's going down? And I don't know what it is. Like, I used to crush at that gig, and the last 2 or 3 times I've been there, they've been pretty fucking rough. And Tuesday night was no different. The crowd was just not giving anything. The MC couldn't break him. He was trying everything in his arsenal, nothing. And then the first act went up, bombed his dick off. Again, I'm not going to name names, but he is a less than favourable of my comedian in the scene, and I'm not alone in that statement. So it was good to see. If I want to be a little crybaby bitch right now, but then the night gets in, and the next 2 acts, they're new in the scene, and they're nice as fuck blokes. I was having a chat to them before the set, and I was like, "Fuck, I hope they can get a little win." And one of them ended up doing pretty well, the one that went before me, so that was good to see. And then I got up and I just had one of those mid-level sets where the material wasn't working. I was trying to dip out of it and just talk to the crowd. They didn't want to talk to us. I don't know what they thought was on that night, but it was not comedy. And I was like, all right, I'll just scrape by, and if I get some chuckles out of you guys, that's a win tonight. That is a win for a Tuesday night in Logan. So, yeah, I did vlog that. If you want to see my pain, that'll probably be out. I don't know. I am behind in my vlogs at the moment. There'll be one out by the time you listen to this, the Orion Hotel. So then I've still got Sunny's and then that Fitzy's one to edit and post. So stay tuned for those ones. I don't know when you'll see them, but you will see them. And then that was all the comedy that I did last week, which, I don't know, it was actually nice to have a bit of a cruisy week, work on the show where I can, and do some other bits and pieces. Spend some time with the fam. But let's rip into Turns Out It Can Get Worse. Got 3 crackers for you today. Let's start with this one. Drag this bad boy across. All right, we've got a guy. Looks like he's about to start running. Let's see play.
Oh!
A ball sack of barbed wire.
Dude!
Jesus. It's going again. Holy fuck. So first jump, he just cops a ball sack of barbed wire and he's like, nah, I'm not letting my mates fucking get this win on me. He goes and has another jump and his spine forgets how to spine. He just fucking collapses. Oh my God. His spine just like hyperflexes the wrong way. That poor guy. But I'm sure we can all see by his eyeballs when he stared into the camera, I think he might be on a little bit of a couple of substances, you know what I mean? So I hope that guy didn't feel anything other than the deep embarrassment of being played on the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. What do we got next? Oh, it's been a while since we've played a love story. I don't think we had a love story last week. So let's see. This is a beautiful couple.
Sorry guys, you can't have me. I'm all Mr. Branches.
Oh,
Y'all are I'm taken, so nobody can like me. So that's it for me. So if y'all get on here,
God damn it! I thought we were in with a chance, guys, but it would appear Mr. Branches has his claws on that fine lady. So I'm sincerely sorry, everyone. We'll have to keep looking. There's plenty of fish in the pond, as they say. Now let's finish off with. Oh, this is an interesting looking fella. Let's hit play.
If you don't have a picture in your profile,
Yep.
then don't bother mentioning me. If you're black, don't mention me.
Oh my God.
If you're overweight or slightly overweight, don't bother mentioning me. If you have a boyfriend or a fiance or husband, don't even bother mentioning me. If you have a kid or kids, even if they don't live with you, don't even bother mentioning me either. Other than that,
He's extremely picky for someone that has a neck that looks like a worm. I'm so sorry, sir. You seem like a lovely guy, but your standards, they're insane. You're lucky you are not Mr. Branches from the last video because, my God. But that wraps up. Turns out it can get worse this week. Let's rip into shit that I've consumed this week. See what's going on. I know I'm probably cruising through these quicker than we would all like, but as I said, I think it's only a fucking moment of time. I don't know. My head is rattled today. I'm going to have a quick sip. Alrighty. So, cool little story I've been following this week. The WNBA. Oh, yeah. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into the sport that everyone loves and talks about. Caitlin Clark, I've spoken about her on the podcast before. She is the superstar of the WNBA. You go and watch a Caitlin Clark highlight video and you're sold. You're like, I'm signing up to a season membership for the WNBA. Now, there are a lot of women in the league that hate that she is getting so much of a limelight, okay? And she gets heavily fouled weekly. And one of her teammates this week, Sophie Cunningham, has stepped up and she basically, last week, Caitlin Clark was getting fouled. She got poked in the eye and then she got shoulder barged. And Sophie Cunningham just went, this is enough of this shit. And full credit to her. Like, hats off for having the balls, no pun intended, to go out and more or less put your career on the line just to prove a point. The girl, I believe it was the girl that poked Caitlin Clark in the eye, was making an open layup, okay? The only person in the way was Sophie Cunningham. Now, when this lady went to go for the layup, Sophie Cunningham grabs her by the hair and just rips her down onto the court. And the world has lost it. They've gone, oh my God, you can't do that. To which Sophie Cunningham had said to the referees and shit, if you guys aren't going to stop fouls, I'm just going to take it into my own hands. So anyone that fouls Caitlin Clark, this is what I'm going to do to you. And it's so good to see. Her jersey has sold out in record time for the WNBA. It's no longer in stock or anything like that. And ticket sales have just gone bunter because there's just so many like degenerate men like me that just want to go and see these women scrap. But no, it is like deep down, it is good to see that just that like man or woman, whatever, just see teammates sticking up for each other. It is, it's so good. But while we're on sport, UFC 317 was yesterday. Holy fuck. It lived up to be the card that we all thought it was going to be. And like, there were a few fights on there. There were sleeper fights, but I think they all like, you were glued to your screen. The three we'll touch on, they were all the three in our multi. Let's start with our boy, Joshua Van. Holy fuck. Am I glad I started tooting this guy's horn when we did. I've been calling him our boy on the podcast for so long now. Go back, check the records. He potentially fight of the year yesterday up against Brendan Royval. Jesus Christ, they wanted to bang yesterday. It was insane. And Joshua Van gets his hand raised. He got the win, and it was good. He actually let's talk about it in the next fight. Next one, Pantoja got the win over Kai Kara France. And look, like I said on the breakdown, it's exactly what was going to happen. As much as I wanted Kai Kara France to win, Pantoja he's a specimen. He can do it all. He can submit you. He can knock you out. He can grind out a decision. He's just the ultimate flyweight competitor. Now, Joshua Van is in the same weight class. And while that fight was going on, Joshua Van and Brendan Royval, everyone was like, this has to be number one contender. So I'm pretty sure Joshua Van yesterday jumped from number 12 to number 1. Insane. And Pantoja gets the win, gets his hand raised, and Joshua Van comes into the octagon, and those two face off, implying our boy, the Can't Get Any Worse favourite, Joshua Van, is going to be next in line for a title shot. And I didn't think I could get any more excited in that division than Kai Kara France getting a title shot. But oh boy, Joshua Van, we are riding for you, buddy. Hey, there's a seat over there. Come on the podcast whenever you feel like it. So yeah, that was I feel for Kai Kara France, but again, we all saw it coming. And then to top off the night, Jesus Christ, there is no more. I had very little doubt in my mind about this absolute animal. Ilia Topuria proved yesterday he is the guy. He is the new perfect UFC fighter in one package. He can do it all. And he just came out yesterday, so much confidence, so much, again, I've said it on the podcast before, we have not seen this since Conor. The only difference, when we saw Conor, you could tell he was a party boy. He was a bad boy at heart. There is something about Ilia Topuria. He does not give a fuck about partying. He does not give a fuck about anything other than fighting. His house, he did like a house tour. He's kitted out his entire house as like a UFC training facility. He lives, sleeps, breathes it. And yesterday was a prime example. He fully Conor McGregored it. He goes, I'm going for a first round knockout. And everyone was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Like, there was a few people that were like, yeah, sure. And I was one. I was like, I don't know if it'll be first round. Second round, yep. But not first round. And to just come out, bang, lived by what he said. First round knockout, knocks out Charles Oliveira. Insane scenes. Like, that has to go down as the greatest knockout title run of all time. The greatest knockout win streak of all time, even. He goes Volkanovski, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. Holy fuck. All three of those people have been considered, if not in the race for the GOAT conversation, the best in their division at some point. Now, I was pretty hyped on that statement yesterday, and I wanted to come in and say that straight off the bat. But as I digested it and I slept on it, I had the other thought of, is Ilia Topuria that good? Yes, I think he is. I think he is genuinely the best MMA fighter we have seen in the last 10 years. And do I think he's going to absolutely dominate for the next 5 to 7? 100%. I do not see anyone that can beat him at this point. And then I was like, okay, Volk, he's up there in age now. Holloway has had a million fights, also getting up there in his mid to late 30s now, I believe. Oliveira, again, getting up there in age. Is it a case of Father Time caught up with all three of them and it just happened the same time as Topuria? I don't know. There's a lot of factors, and I don't know. I'm actually keen to see where Topuria goes from here. They did the whole Paddy the Batty came in the cage after they did the face-off. Dana White was pretty pissed off from all reports. That was not the fight that he wanted to sell next, and he hates it when fighters take things into their own accord. So I heard in the press conference that Dana was pretty pissed off that they did that. I think it forces the UFC's hand that they have to make that fight come to fruition now. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes of all that. But I still think, Paddy Pimblett, I can't see how he beats Ilia Topuria. Yes, his last fight, I said I'm on the bandwagon, but Ilia is fucking, it is insane. Anyway, the last thing I've watched this week, Squid Game Season 3. Not going to harp on it too much. I don't want to give any spoilers or anything, but I found it better than Season 2. And I don't know if that's just because it came to like a end, like a crescendo or whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more graphic scenes. Let's just leave it at that. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Let's finish off with a motivational clip. Again, sorry for the shortish episode this week, but just got to get in and get it done. Drag this over.
But if you want to see if you're a brave person, what they call the 4 o'clock in the morning courage, wait when things go completely to pieces, when things are the worst, when your very best deal falls apart and your rent is late and you're tired and you're sick and everybody is mad at you and your car doesn't work, then it's the person that picks themselves up and says nothing is going to stop me. You know, the best quality in the world that you can develop, and I give it to you because I made it my life's habit to develop this quality. I hope I've got it, but I don't know for sure. But the quality is to develop the quality of being unstoppable. Develop the quality of being unstoppable. Say in yourself that no matter what life throws at me, it'll never stop me. No matter how rough it gets, I will never quit. And nothing will ever stop me. Make the decision that you can be tired, you can be worn out, but nothing is ever going to stop you. That's a wonderful decision, because then no matter what life throws at you, you pick yourself up and you say, okay, give it your best shot, as Fonzie says. Nothing is going to stop you. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. It's the basis of self-esteem.
There we go, guys. Hopefully that gave you a bit of a pump up for a Tuesday, but let's plug some shows. Sunday, July 20th, we have our next Distillery Road Market show. I'm taking the night off on that one. I have hired an MC for the night, and I'm just going to kick back and watch that one, which quietly looking forward to, you know. Saturday the 26th, Sunny's at Margate again. They're changing the format a little bit there, and they're trialing an early afternoon show. We'll see how it goes, but I think that kicks off at like 1:30 in the afternoon. So lineup is secured for that one. Again, absolutely stellar lineup. At the point of recording this, I think there's only about 50 to 60 tickets left, which is about half of them. So already good numbers. Bought tickets for that one. Friday, August 1st, we are back at the Orion Hotel again. Again, another fucking kick-ass lineup for that one. I'm emceeing both those last two. So if you want to come see me, I've got no gigs this week to plug unless another dropout pops its head. But I definitely want to get this solo show in the books and just focus on that a little bit more. But, one other thing I had to add. I was plugging on here a few weeks ago that I was potentially going to Gladstone and Yeppoon. That is, I'm no longer going on that tour. Just a couple of dramas with car fucking back end shit, okay? So I put my hand up and I'm like, guys, in all honesty, it would actually be better for me if I skipped that one and stayed here working on the solo show. So half took one for the team on that one, but realistically, it was a selfish bullet. Other than that, guys, send submissions via DM on Instagram or via email at cantgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. Sorry for the bit of a lackluster episode this week. As I said, fair bit happening around the house and shit this week. Little bit of head noise and stuff going on up in this dumb old brain of mine, but had to get in here, had to get something recorded for you guys. Hopefully you got some sort of enjoyment out of it, but we will be back in full force as of next week with some absolute cracking yarns. We do 100% have a guest episode locked in next week. He has been locked in now for probably 2 months or so, and I'm keen as fuck to get him in and have a bit of a yarn with him. He's probably not one of our typical guests that we've had in over the time, But yeah, I am actually genuinely stoked to have a chat to him. So if I don't talk to you guys before next week, appreciate you guys listening. Keep sharing the fuck out of this shit. Let's keep growing, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. It's all